And welcome back live to Fight Night here on NBCSN, coming to you from Mohegan Sun at Pocono Downs in the beautiful Pocono Mountain.
The champ is here! Yeah, like that.
Of light heavyweights for the #1 eliminator. Two guys ranked in the top 4 in the world by the IBF. Nadjib Mohammedi at #4, Anatoliy Dudchenko at #3. And Nadjib Mohammedi, 29 years of age. He is 35-3, 20 of those wins coming by way of knockout. This is the first time he has fought in the U.S. All but 3 of his 38 fights have been outside of his native France. He fought in Liverpool, England. He's fought in Russia and Algeria, and now here in the U.S. And probably one of his biggest, most impressive fights was actually a loss to Nathan Cleverly almost 4 years ago in Liverpool.
Yeah, Nathan Cleverly went on to become the WBO light heavyweight champion. He fought a fairly competitive fight with Cleverly, and showed that he is upper class, and he's got another opportunity tonight to prove with Dudchenko that he belongs to fight against the world champions. That's what he's hoping to do, Kenny.
And if nothing else, he comes in with a lot of style, if you look at the fedora.
Yeah, he does. And, on top of that, at the fighter meetings yesterday, this is an extremely confident guy. He told us yesterday not only that he's going to win, he's going to win by knockout. And, Dudchenko hasn't been knocked out before, and he comes from the Ukrainian old-school style of fighting that, listen, you're going to have to kill me to beat me. And Mohammedi has no problem saying that he's going to score a knockout tonight. And
Dudchenko with a lot more amateur experience. Mohammedi started at 16 years of age, had 34 amateur fights, then turned pro. And now, Dudchenko getting ready to come out. Let's go to Chris.
Jesse, what do you want to see out of Anatoly tonight?
I want to see aggressiveness and show what kind of a fighter he is. Show people the different dimensions he fights from. And he's explosive.
What are his big advantages in this fight against this opponent?
You got a cruiserweight fighting a junior middleweight. It's a big advantage. His speed is a big advantage, and his power.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
And there's Anatoly Dudchenko, 35 years old, grew up in Ukraine, has been living in Los Angeles for the last 10 years. Interesting. Grew up in Ukraine, been in L.A. He's coming out to the Rocky song, the most famous boxing song of all, one of the most famous sports songs of all time. But does he have the eye of the tiger tonight? We'll see that in a moment. But all of his fights have been in the U.S. except one. That was his last fight in Germany, when he fought in Germany.
Yeah, he doesn't have any troubles going abroad, Kenny, but he has had all of his fights in the USA. But, they called him to fight Robert Woj over in Germany. He went over there to fight a Sauerland-promoted fighter in Germany, in the guy's hometown, and defeated him. So he's obviously got a lot of confidence in his ability. And the corner, Jesse Reed, they feel like they've got one of the best light heavyweights in the world, and they're looking forward to this challenge tonight.
That win over Woj, very impressive, 238 days ago. It's been 203 days since Mohammedi fought. Both guys bringing some flair into the walk-in to the ring. We'll see what happens when they actually go toe-to-toe as we take a look at the tail of the tape. The taller fighter with the reach that is not that 62 inches. It's a lot more than that, we guarantee it. He is 6'3", has the height advantage, as you can see over Mohammedi at the weigh-in. It really jumped out. We take a look now at the rules. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round, and the fight becomes official after 4 rounds. And now let's go to Joe Antonacci to officially meet them.
Boxing fans, here we go. Main Events and Pelts Boxing present our main event of the evening. Our main event, 12 rounds to determine the #1 contender for the IBF Light Heavyweight Championship. Our judges overseeing this bout, Bernard Bruni, Julie Letterman, Ron McNair, and our referee, Sean Clark. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he comes to us tonight from Gardanne, France. He weighed in at 171.5 pounds, solid black trunks. Professional record, 35 victories, only 3 defeats. 20 of his victories coming by way of knockout. Please welcome Nadjib Mohammedi. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. Originally from the Ukraine, he is now living and fighting out of Los Angeles, California. Red trunks, blue trim, professional record, 18 victories, only 2 defeats. 12 of his 18 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome Anatoliy, the Gladiator Dudchenko. Our referee, Sean Clark, has our fighters' final instructions.
All right, fellas, y'all had your instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch them up.
12 rounds to become the IBF #1 contender.
They have 32 knockouts between them. That man, Mohammedi, predicting a knockout of that man, Dudchenko. Will this fight go the 12-round distance, PJ Flores?
That's going to be interesting. I can't tell at this point. I'm not very familiar with Mohammedi, and Dudchenko didn't tell us much at the fighters meetings yesterday, Kenny. So, you know, in the first couple rounds, we'll be able to see a lot how this fight's going to play out. But you immediately see the size difference in Dudchenko. Very big, got that left hand down, comes right out, and, you know, puts a little bit of pressure, shoots that jab from the hip like that, and makes it difficult to see the right hand coming sometimes if he can start to land that jab.
Of his 12 knockouts, 4 have come in the first round for Dudchenko.
And, I mean, this is a big platform for both guys. You know, cleverly fought with Mohammedi over almost 4 years ago. Nobody really knows who Mohammedi is in America. Dudchenko, similar type of story. He's had all of his fights here, but no one's seen him on TV before. So this is very exciting for both guys. And for the winner to be able to be the mandatory for Bernard Hopkins, that's doesn't get much better than that.
Biggest stage for both, even though, as you mentioned, BJ, Dudchenko ranked #3 by the IBF. Mohammedi ranked #4 by the IBF.
Yeah, both guys are up in the ratings, but, you know, it doesn't really mean that much because now they're fighting for the mandatory spot, and the winner of this fight will fight Bernard Hopkins, you know, within the next 9 to 12 months. So, you know, that's exciting for both guys. Gives both guys a lot of motivation during a training camp, and I'm sure both guys will come out very, very aggressive tonight.
Dudchenko flipping out the jab.
And you see him, he's just trying to get comfortable in this first round, trying to feel Mohammedi out. Mohammedi looks a little uncomfortable in there, you know, based on the, you know, low left-handed Dudchenko, the range, the distance, the reach, all those kind of things. Dudchenko's reached him a couple times already with the right hand, so Mohammedi's going to have to look to land body shots and get better in range of within the punches of Dudchenko.
Mohammedi talks about fighting taller fighters. I don't know if he's fought a guy that has this kind of reach advantage as Dudchenko does on him.
Yeah, probably not, but one thing he can do, Kenny, to cut that off is use his feet. He can slide in and out of range with his feet, use angles to create distance and cut distance off, and those are things that shorter fighters have done all their lives.
Under a minute to go in this first round. Very much a feeling out process between Dudchenko in the red with blue and Mohammedi.
You see how Dudchenko kind of leans back whenever Mohammedi punches. A good punch for Mohammedi to use here is a nice stiff jab to the body. He just tried to use it there, push off that back leg, and then land the right
goes
hand.
in and delivers his best punches.
Good, you saw he jabbed in the body, Kenny, and then he slid in with combinations. That's something we talked about in the keys to victory for Mohammedi. He's got to use combinations to be able to win tonight because he can't reach Dudchenko with one punch. See that low left-handed Dudchenko. A couple things Mohammedi can do to take advantage of that. He can slide over to his right side, look to land another good right hand by Mohammedi.
Mohammedi has landed some good punches in this, the first of what is scheduled for 12.
Yeah, don't forget he's got a body, so step in body, bing, bing, and then hit him in the head, all right? A lot of feints over the top. Yeah. Don't forget your arrow right down the pipe, but get close enough with it, all right?
Jesse Reed with instructions to his fighter, Anatoliy Dudchenko, between rounds. Here we are, round 2, scheduled for 12. Light heavyweights at it. Mohammedi in the black trunks with the Batman symbol.
I like that. And Jesse Reed gave Dudchenko a lot of good advice in that corner. He said, you know what, you're trying to load up a little too much, and that happens a lot of times in big fights like this in the first round. So back to the jab, back to the stick, back to touching him, and you know, the combinations will flow off of that. Good round for Mohammedi.
Yeah, glad to have with us Larry Hazard, as always, the esteemed Larry Hazard, and he has that first round unofficially scored 10-9 for Mohammedi, who had some of those good punches in the middle and latter parts of that first round.
Dudchenko just landed a very nice right hand against Mohammedi in that far corner. Good shot, setting him up better off the jab now, and looking more relaxed in the second round.
Let's check in with Chris.
Guys, for Nadjib Mohammedi, this is his first fight on U.S. soil, and he may be showing his inexperience in this area. After training in France, Mohammedi arrived just 5 days before the fight. Now, let me give you some context here. Steve Cunningham, who fought overseas frequently for several years, told me he would always arrive 10 days to 2 weeks before the fight. The one time he didn't, before his first cruiserweight title shot in 2006, he was so out of sorts that he actually fell asleep in the dressing room before the fight.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, there you see the schedule of Mohammedi. France is home, naturally. Russia, Great Britain. We talked about that tough fight he had against Cleverly. Maybe one of his best fights ever in a losing situation. Fought in Algeria. Makes his U.S. debut tonight. And for the mandatory challenger, also to the winner of this.
You see Mohammedi using that double jab in the right hand. He's got the right idea, but his technique's a little flawed here. He's moving up onto his toes. Nice left hook right
in and gets that.
But what he's doing is he's standing a little too high up on his toes instead of dropping his butt down and really getting his hips and his waist into the punches. So, you know, he's got the right idea, and his hand speed's saving him a little bit, but if he will drop down a little more, he'll get more leverage on that double jab and right hand. You definitely don't want to stand straight up and stick that chin out whenever you're coming in to punch on a guy like Dudchenko.
Anatoliy Dudchenko in the red, in the black, Nadjib Mohammedi. These two fighters both in the top 4 in the world in the IBF. They're fighting for the #1 IBF eliminator and a mandatory challenge against the champ Bernard Hopkins. Glad you're with us on Fight Night. Kenny Rice, BJ Flores, and Chris Mannix. And this is interesting. Both guys hot right now. It's Dudchenko winning 16 straight coming in. Mohammedi winning 10 straight coming in. Final seconds of this, the second round. Light heavyweight scheduled for 12. As it ticks down, both guys still getting to know each other a little better.
And you see in the second round, Mohammedi doing some good work, coming in with that leaping left hook, little short right hand after that. The problem with those punches are his feet aren't on the ground when he's shooting them, so it gets minimal amount of power, but he is getting into range, Kenny.
We go into round 3. And that last round, Larry Hazard scoring it for Dudchenko, a round apiece here unofficially after the first 2 here at Mohegan Sun, Pocono Downs, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
And it was a close round on my scorecard, Kenny. It could have went either way to me because I think Mohammedi landed some good body punches. Dudchenko did some good work, too. You know, it was a very close round, and I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, judges scored it for either guy in that round.
Let's go to Dudchenko's corner with Chris.
Jesse, it looks like Anatoliy's having trouble getting his timing out there. What are you seeing?
Trying to load up too much. He needs to stay more relaxed and just let his flow go. He's starting to get it now. He's just getting into the flow of things. This guy's not trying to fight. We were hoping he'd come and try to fight, but he's staying away. Anatoliy hurt him with a short left hook. They just touched him and he wobbled his legs. So once he lands, I think we're going to be okay.
Surprised Mohammedi's been able to put this much pressure on so far?
Well, he's not putting pressure, but how he surprised me that he is trying to fight.
Thanks, Jesse.
I'm a little confused by what he said, Kenny. He's not trying to fight, he's trying to fight. I see Mohammedi coming forward and actually applying the pressure on Dudchenko. What do you see?
I see him coming forward the whole time, and even though it's a little unorthodox sometimes when he takes almost like a little hop and a skip to try to throw a punch at the taller fighter, it's been Mohammedi bringing this fight most of the way so far in the early going, I think.
He has, and he looks very anxious to get to Dudchenko. Like every time they get into clinch, he's got very quick upper body movement, and that's making it a little difficult for Dudchenko. You see Mohammedi coming in. Watch this little motion that he does when he's kind of coming forward. He's coming forward. He's kind of in range, but he's out of range. Good shot
by Mohammedi. That got the attention of Dudchenko.
And that hurt Dudchenko a bit. It caught him right on the chin, and I feel like, you know, even though in the last round, Mohammedi landed that shot, his feet were off the ground, he didn't have the power. At that time, he had a lot more power on his punch game.
Here's a free,
and I see him getting into range for Dudchenko. I see him getting closer, and I see him making Dudchenko uncomfortable.
He's doing what you said in the inside the ring segment, exactly what you were saying, BJ, about taking the height advantage and reach advantage away from Dudchenko.
Yeah, he is. He's, you know, I just saw him shoot 2 nice jabs to the body. He's trying to land the right hand. He stands up a little too straight when he does those punches, but they're still working, Kenny. And if Dudchenko's going to sit there, good shots by Mohammedi in there.
And Dudchenko with a headlock there for just a moment to try to regain some composure as the pressure continues for Mohammedi.
And what I like about Mohammedi, you can see a high level of actually wanting to get in there and fight. Like, he can watch when the referee pushes him away. He can't even wait to get back to Dudchenko again. He's got a game plan that he's trying to execute tonight. And so far, I think he's got Dudchenko in a little bit of trouble.
And Mohammedi spins him around. A little bit of wrestling moves we've had some times in this fight so far. Mohammedi with another good round. It is Nadjib Mohammedi taking the fight to the taller Dudchenko here early on.
Don't just be banging with hard shots, okay? Don't let him wrestle with you. He's trying to roll you around and everything. Get in there and punch to the body and head, all right? Looping right hand of the body, left hook off your jab. Right now, it's like up and down. You got to be more aggressive with your hands, all right? You got to start.
Again, Jesse Reed with Dudchenko between rounds. We're back to live action. Mohammedi in the black continues to put the pressure on. That last round scored for him as well by Larry Hazard. Let me ask you, first off, talk about the wrestling. We'll have that coming up next, wrestling and hitting with MMA action following us. But as far as when you have a fighter asking the coach, your trainer, hey, how's the points going right now? Do you want to hear that if you're the guy training this fighter?
Well, sometimes good right hand by Mohammedi there.
Mohammedi delivering the stronger punches in this fight, maybe to the surprise of many.
I'm not surprised. He's made Dudchenko uncomfortable since the second round. He's been putting pressure on a big shot, and Dudchenko's in trouble here.
Dudchenko once again taking some punishment here by Mohammedi. And Mohammedi is sensing it as he's trying to cut off the ring.
The intense pressure, he's all over Dudchenko. He's not giving him a chance to breathe. Watch whenever he breaks. Mohammedi's right back in Dudchenko's face. He's making him uncomfortable. That right hand can't miss. We talked about that in the strategies. Dudchenko's got a low left hand. The overhand right and the straight right hand is there all night. Mohammedi's taking advantage of that.
And you see Mohammedi is able to take advantage. Dudchenko doesn't get that hand up as quick as he his left hand. And Mohammedi is able to get in there, and you see the punch count now building up for the Frenchman.
That defense, when you have the left hand down, you have to be good punches by
Mohammedi. Slides in an uppercut as well. And this has been the best round for Nadjib Mohammedi.
Well, he's damaged Dudchenko in this round. He's hurt him physically. We see that. He's getting off whenever he wants. He's getting into range, and he's looking for the knockout, Kenny.
He has predicted this fight would end with him winning it with a knockout.
He did, and, you know, to be honest with you, in the fighter meetings yesterday, I was a little, you know, kind of scoffing at him a bit, but, you know, he came in here, is really executing the game plan that he said he would. Dudchenko's going to have to land a big punch and turn it around.
And Mohammedi, again, getting inside on Dudchenko.
But you see what's making Dudchenko uncomfortable. Mohammedi's lunging in with punches. He's very unorthodox, and sometimes unorthodox fighters are even harder to find because it's not what you're used to seeing.
And Dudchenko with a full rush of his own, pushing Mohammedi back against the ropes, trying to get out of trouble, and he does for a moment, and Mohammedi goes right back. Nice uppercut as well. He slides in a left and another uppercut. Nadjib Mohammedi, his best round so far.
Dudchenko's in a lot of trouble here, Kenny, I'm telling you.
Nadjib Mohammedi taking control of this fight. Repeatedly landing punches on Dudchenko with authority.
You see Mohammedi doing some great work in the second round. He used the double jab to pin Dudchenko against the ropes. When he got him there, he landed the straight right hand, landed the overhand right. Beautiful uppercut inside there. Good punch selection by Mohammedi. He's making Dudchenko very uncomfortable, Kenny.
And BJ Mohammedi getting stronger as this fight's going on. He landed 26 compared to 6 for Dudchenko in that last round. That's 42-8 in the last 2 rounds. Mohammedi getting confidence, getting stronger, and frustrating Dudchenko right now as we go into round 5, scheduled for 12.
The punches of Mohammedi are taking a bit of energy out of the legs of Dudchenko. You see him not as quick, not as snappy. Good right hand by Mohammedi again. He's just got a lot of energy in there, Kenny, and he's really asserting himself on a guy who didn't expect this type of fight. You can see Dudchenko didn't expect Mohammedi to walk him down and come at him and be in his face every single second like he's been so far tonight.
Good fight. That punch count right there, 26-6 in round 4. And Larry, once again, giving that last round to Mohammedi. Let's check in with Chris.
Mohammedi's corner has been very happy these last few rounds, between rounds, telling Mohammedi, you're doing good, you're doing well, keep dancing with him, keep moving, pressure him, and don't let up.
And that is exactly what Mohammedi has been doing in this fight, and he continues to mount the punches.
The pressure's great, Kenny. Look at that. He's getting right inside with Dudchenko. Dudchenko's putting the earmuffs on. There's no possible way he can punch there. But Mohammedi is, making him very uncomfortable. And now in this round and the last round, he's starting to hurt. He's physically taking it out of the legs and out of the punch to Dudchenko. Body attack, nice jabs. He's doing everything. He's having his way with him. I can't see this fight going more than a couple more rounds if it continues like this, Kenny.
Again, Mohammedi boldly predicting knockout. He delivers a good right, and again has hurt Dudchenko. Dudchenko backing up again. Look at the power punches. Mohammedi dominating.
Stop! Dudchenko looks like he doesn't have anything left right now. He looks very exhausted. He looks tired. He's frustrated. He's been hurt a couple times. And like I said, he's going to have to land something big if he wants to get back in this fight, because on my scorecard, I got Mohammedi dominating.
I doubt if he's going to ask again in the corner of Jesse Reed, who do you think's ahead on points?
Well, at this point, Jesse needs to look for a way to get his fighter back in the fight, because, it's not like, they're close nip and tuck rounds. Mohammedi's dominating. Big
what a right by Mohammedi.
And you see Dudchenko just covering up right there, putting the earmuffs on. He knows he's hurt. He needs a second to recover, and Mohammedi's really having his way here.
Mohammedi, again and again, Dudchenko is in trouble. Dudchenko may be hurt.
He's definitely hurt.
And Dudchenko takes another right and another right.
And this is good stuff from a guy who got here to the United States on Monday, Kenny. He got here on Monday and said, you know what, listen, how am I going to deal with the pressure? I'm French. And he's doing some good work here in the 5th round. And like I said, I didn't really believe everything he said in the fighter meetings. Fighters say a lot of things from time to time. He's came out and done exactly what he said he would do.
Mohammedi, round after round, continues to get stronger.
Putting a beating on Dudchenko.
Listen, son, this is where your life. This is your life. You got to let your hands go. Look at me. Let your hands go. More than 1 and 2, not just one hard shot.
This for your baby that's going to be born.
And that's from the corner. Jesse Reed once again telling Dudchenko as we get back to the 6th round. And Mohammedi in the black trunks, the Frenchman making his U.S. debut, is dominating this fight right now. And again, it's Dudchenko who doesn't seem to have any way of defending himself. Larry giving that last round 10-8 to Mohammedi.
Kenny, looks like Dudchenko's the one who flew from Europe over here. And he looks jet-lagged. He looks a little zapped. Mohammedi's having his way with him. Now, if I'm Dudchenko, what I'm going to do is, if I'm going to keep my left hand down, which obviously that strategy isn't working, I'm going to not let Mohammedi continue to move to his right into range to land his own right hand. I'm going to start to move to my right to take away Mohammedi's right hand. And I don't know if that made any sense or not, but he needs to move the other way.
Well, it makes total sense. And Dudchenko, we even heard Jesse Reed just before what our audience heard out there. He said, you look weak. You look like everything's right with you. And then you heard also from his corner trying to encourage him, because he and his wife, Natalia, are expecting their first child later on this summer. And so trying to all kinds of motivation now for Dudchenko, who does not look like the guy that people expected to see tonight.
I'm going to tell you why he looks weak, Kenny. Nadjib Mohammedi. He's arrived, and he's not pretty to watch. He's not a guy you're going to watch and say, oh man, that guy's so slick or so sharp. But he's doing some things in there that are making it very difficult for Dudchenko. He's applying constant pressure. He's coming with an assortment of punches. He's very awkward. He jumps in, he jumps out, and he's physically strong. So a combination of all those things, he's having his way with Dudchenko, and Dudchenko looks like he's pretty much done here at this point.
Dudchenko has no offense right now, none at all. And it's Mohammedi just loading up and laying the punches anytime he wants, it seems.
I think it's a surprise to everybody. Mohammedi, an unknown guy coming in from overseas, a guy who, he's got a high rating. We're going to fight him and make, Dudchenko the mandatory challenger for Bernard Hopkins. And, this is boxing, Kenny. This is, any guy can surprise any guy on any given night, and that's exactly what we're getting right now.
Mohammedi once again And Dudchenko, you wonder, with these punches, when's it going to take its toll?
Oh, it's taking its toll. It's definitely taking its toll, and he's looking fantastic. He's landing a lot of good shots. And like I said, I mean, I came in a little skeptical myself. He's been very impressive. He's dominating Dudchenko, who most people expected to win this fight.
And Dudchenko, he's still in there. But yet you wonder, what does he have left? As Mohammedi continues to dominate this fight, we get to the halfway point.
Some more good work from Mohammedi in the last round. You see him continuing to back Dudchenko up against the ropes, coming with an assortment of punches, uppercuts, right hands, overhand shots, left jabs. Dudchenko can't block them all, and Mohammedi did a lot of damage to Dudchenko in that last round.
Including a cut over the bridge of the nose of Dudchenko. They did a lot of work on that between rounds. And back at it here, round 7 scheduled for 12. Mohammedi continues to deliver.
Great punches, good punch selection. You see Dudchenko's got the earmuffs on. His hands are completely right.
And Dudchenko, how's he been able to hold up? Mohammedi trying to finish it, and he does. Nadjib Mohammedi, predicted knockout. He gets it here.
Great victory by Nadjib Mohammedi. Great punch selection in the end. You saw he came out. Dudchenko actually came out and let a couple good shots go. Mohammedi watched it, came back with a flourish, and was really impressive tonight, Kenny. It's always nice to get a knockout on national TV.
And perhaps not just winning this fight, but the way he controlled the fight almost from the opening bell, BJ.
He absolutely did, and like I said earlier, he made Dudchenko very uncomfortable. He was in his face the entire time, and it's not what this guy does that makes you say, oh, he's the best boxer I've ever seen. He's so slick, but he's very, very unorthodox. He's very awkward. He's physically strong, and he's got decent pop on his punches. He's not a one-punch guy, but he's on you all the time, and Dudchenko obviously didn't have any answers for that tonight.
And Dudchenko with the height advantage, the reach advantage. Some thought perhaps that he had fought at least, if not better, quality opponents looking at the resume, but it is Nadjib Mohammedi came to the U.S. for the first time on Monday, made his pro debut in this country tonight, and now the Frenchman goes to 36-3, and more important, he is now the #1 guy. He is now qualified as that mandatory challenger for the champ, Bernard Hopkins, in the IBF.
Yeah, and that's something very interesting that the IBF does. They make the #1 challenger fight another top guy to receive that #1 placement. And, you know, hats off to the IBF for always making their guys do that, because Mohammedi came in here tonight as an underdog, arrived here on Monday, and had a big win tonight, and now he's got big things in his future.
Let's get the official time of that victory for Mohammedi, and back to Joe.
Boxing fans, the time, 37 seconds of round number 7. Your winner by TKO from Gardin, France, Nadjib Mohammedi.
And getting that glove off was the toughest thing Mohammedi's had to do all night. Let's take a look at the punch stats for Nadjib Mohammedi. Well, that sums it right up, doesn't it? 137-28. If you just looked at that number, Mohammedi hitting at a good clip of 38% in this fight. Total jabs, 50-8. Dudchenko went around. I don't even know if he even threw much of a jab. And then overall, it was Mohammedi with the power punches. We saw them coming in bunches to close out this fight in the 7th round. 87-20 overall, and how active he was. He threw 201 compared to 87 for Dudchenko, who just seemed to be losing steam as this fight continued to go along. Now let's go to Chris with the winner.
Nadjib, congratulations. You were very confident all week long. Did you expect the fight to go like this?
Bonjour tout le monde, merci pour cet accueil. Oui, je pensais qu'il allait faire un combat comme ça. Je pensais faire même un meilleur combat. On a démontré certaines choses ce soir.
Yeah. So hi everyone. My name is Nadjib Mohammedi. I'm the best. So I thought that I was doing good tonight, but I thought I was the better. I was the best. I am the best.
J'ai travaillé pour faire ce combat-là. On a travaillé avec mon entraîneur, mon club, le Boxing Center, tous les gens qui me soutiennent.
Yeah, we work hard with my trainer, Samuel Florimont, with the Boxing Center in Marseille, in Pen Mirabeau.
You are now the mandatory for Bernard Hopkins. What do you think of that potential fight?
Qu'est-ce que tu penses pour le prochain combat avec Bernard?
On savait que ça allait être nous, on s'est préparé pour. On est prêt, on va se préparer pour Bernard Hopkins, on va se préparer pour tous les autres. Vous m'avez découvert ce soir et j'ai encore plein de choses à vous montrer. Je vais revenir très très bientôt. Merci à Main Events.
Okay, stop. Nobody expected tonight that I was a great fighter. Nobody. But we told you, and we are ready. We are all ready for Bernard Hopkins, and we get ready every day. And I'm gonna train hard for Bernard Hopkins. Hey, Bernard, we're gonna take your belt. Nadjib Mohammedi say that.
Thanks, Nadjib. Kenny.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. I don't know if it was so much a surprise that.
Merci à Louis Lavalli, merci à tout le monde, merci à Christelle Aujoux, merci à tous mes partenaires, Main Events et toute la famille et tous ceux qui sont derrière et que j'ai oublié. Désolé pour vous. Merci à tous les sponsors de dernière minute.
He thanks everyone. Thank you Main Events. Thank you everyone. Thank you guys. We're coming back.
I got the thank you part. That part I got. Nadjib Mohammedi, not just coming here and winning, but dominating from the outset of this fight and winning it with a knockout in the 7th round over Anatoliy Dudchenko. Mohammedi wins it. He gets his chance to get his shot at Bernard Hopkins. And there's more boxing. Stay with us here on Fight Night when we come back.